Hi, everybody.
Let's retweet some stuff here. Boop. I decided to do what I've been doing with TVGP and put the PUP logo down here.
Oh, nice. I am all about doing that stuff. I don't know. Have you ever considered doing any live theme music?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about having more audio stuff in the show, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of time, and I've been focusing lately on doing some live streaming YouTube stuff. So
It's really a pain in the butt, but
maybe I won't do it.
The problem is muting everyone else on the call while the song plays.
Oh, right.
And but if they make a free software called Voice Meter that kind of allows you to treat everything individually in your sound bar. You just make that your playback device, and then it works as kind of a digital mixer. But it's pretty easy to use, and it's free. So
yeah, because I've always heard people in the past basically making a fake Skype caller and then routing your MP3s through that, and then it just kind of gets caught in everything.
Ooh, yeah. I guess that would work too.
Yeah, but I don't know if Skype has changed so much in the last year. I don't even know if it's possible or not.
I don't know. Well, I mean, if you have a separate, like a laptop or something doing that, I don't see how that wouldn't work.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm saved. Coffee.
Did Susie sneak in with that coffee?
Yes, she did.
I didn't even see. I was just like, wait, what's happening? Married a ninja, man.
I did. You know, her screen name on PlayStation is, or maybe it's Xbox, is Ninja Nox Eternus. So
nice. See? Truth in advertising. All right, where did my other phone go? Well, that's bad. Well, I have my work phone on me. That's the one that matters.
Man, my Twitch is just not working. I don't know what the deal is.
This is going to be a really weird show. Okay, let me pull up emails here. I don't see that we have any tweets.
Oh, now it's working. Okay. My computer stopped being dumb.
Oh, we have an email.
Yay!
If I you should probably say that's boy, that's gonna be an interesting email to read.
You guys pick up anything on the Steam sale?
Oh, a couple things here and there.
I bought Undertale again.
How do you buy it again?
I needed to buy it twice. I needed to buy it for other people.
Oh, that makes sense. I'm trying to let me log in and see if I picked up anything interesting. I picked up a lot of stuff that I've kind of been wanted on the back burner, and they were all kind of like $3 to $5 games. I figured, all right, let me buy 5 or 6 of these. What is it really going to hurt?
Yeah.
Pick them
I think
all
I
up
did
now.
that too.
I keep debating on getting the Racketeer because it's only $5. Is that game any good?
I don't know. For $5, play it with somebody else, and you'll probably have a pretty good time. But I don't know.
Okay.
Can you get it as a 99-cent game? Hold out till then.
Yeah.
I'm not attached to buying it. It just sounded like a fun concept for a game.
I think if you and Susie played, it might be fun. Those are the games I've played. Where is the things I have purchased?
If it's your type of game, then I mean it's worth it because it's well designed. It's just I got bored of it.
I don't know a lot about it. I just know you're maintaining an item shop for RPG players.
Yeah.
Or something.
Oh, that Racketeer.
Yes, Racketeer.
I'm sorry. I thought you were thinking of the other one, the one that came out on 360.
Oh, I have no idea.
I have no
Oh, you
idea.
were launching like cannonballs at a tower or something. It might have been Connect only now that I'm thinking about it.
Oh God.
No, Racketeer the shop one. Apparently that's pretty good, but like Mina said, it almost overstays its welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not. I'm in cheap mode right now, so no.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a gotta have.
Get it 99 cents.
Yeah. The games I really want right now, but I don't have time to play, so I'm not buying them, are things like Darkest Dungeon and Witcher 3 and Metal Gear 5.
Yeah.
And I forget what else.
Cosmic Storm in chat says Grandia 2 remastered is half off on Steam.
Buy Metal Gear 5 from GameStop.
Yeah.
Used. Do that for me. Use them. Buy it used from somebody. Don't give Konami money. You didn't hear that?
That's a really good point.
That's not in the actual podcast, but don't do it.
Like, the show hasn't started yet. I can still cuss, right?
Yeah, sure.
Hashtag fuck Konami.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really, seriously. Never getting a single dollar out of my pocket ever again, that's for sure.
I really wish there was a better way to sort by things I've recently purchased on the Steam website. Let's look and see if the actual Steam application can do that.
It should be, if you can't do it that way, I know there's websites out there that literally like blows up your entire library and adds up how much money you've spent.
Yeah.
Well, and you can also look at their social media feed thing, and
Yeah, my games weren't showing up on that, which is weird. I was just looking through that.
that is weird.
Now I'm stubborn enough that now I have to figure it out.
Maybe I can look at his social feed and tell him what he bought.
It's depressing looking at the number of games that I own, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just hit 530.
Yeah, you
Okay.
did.
Steam Link, man, I'm telling you, that thing is wonderful.
Yeah, I keep thinking about buying one of those. I was hoping it would be on sale during this during the sale.
Yeah. Well, and it doesn't like it's still probably rough around the edges enough that it needs to be people like you guys who are a little computer savvy.
Yeah.
Because big picture does crash occasionally.
Yeah. Ah, here's my purchase history. All right, I bought Her Story because it was $40. Like, why
Yeah.
not? Gods Will Be Watching because I want to play that. Darkest Dungeon, Total Annihilation, Satellite Rain, Downwell, Fingered because it was $1.80. And that was really about it. And Hack/Loot, which looked fun. But that was about it. Not a ton of stuff.
I'm curious about that Invisible Ink game, too.
God, it's supposed to be so good. Is it on sale?
Hearing the Giant Bomb guys rave about it just really... Yeah, it's like $10 right now.
Yeah, it is. It's half off. See, this is where they get me, because $10 is a pretty good amount of money. When they say it's half off its normal price, then I go, well, how can I afford not to if I'll get to it later? That's a bad plan.
Because then, like a year from now, when you'll actually play it, it'll be 75% off.
That's true.
Yeah, that's entirely true.
Yeah, I guess with the DLC that came out, it's supposed to be really, really great. It seems like something up my alley. I really don't have the time to play it right now.
I got to get back to the I'll call it the Big Mackey plan, because he's the first person who said it, and then I've always failed to follow through, is beat 2 games, buy 1 game.
Yep.
Oh, that seems like a good rule, yeah.
So that's what I got to do. I beat Her Story the other day, so now I got to beat Soma, and then I can buy something else if I really want to, but I bought a bunch of stuff with my Christmas.
Save up
so
that way you can buy something like Persona 5. You don't want to be trapped where you can't buy that.
Yeah.
That's not. They're going to announce that release date at least 3 to 6 months in advance, and I'm going to sit down with the number on the collector's edition, and I'm going to go, do I want to be that guy who buys 2 copies to keep 1 sealed?
Right. How deep do I want to go on this?
Yeah, like my Persona fandom is really, reached maximum levels here.
You had a piggy bank somewhere in the background.
I yeah.
All right. Are we ready to kick this thing off?
Good to
Let's
go.
let's do it.
All right. Excuse me. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of Picking Up the Pixels RPG Love. Happy New Year. This is the first episode in 2016. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the room, we have Musim.
Heyo.
And we have Mina.
Hiya.
Let's just get right down to it, and let's talk about Musim. What did you play at the end of 2015?
Yes, let's talk about me. And no, I played a lot of the stuff you'd expect me to a degree. So let's get that stuff out of the way first. Warframe, like with their last update, introduced this new daily challenge called Sorties. And what it is, it's a series of 3 extremely high-level missions. Like Warframe, you're usually fighting, when it gets hard, you're usually fighting level 30 to 50 guys. Well, a sortie generally starts around level 60 or 80.
Oh, wow.
In terms of the bad guys. And it always has some sort of penalty in terms of what you're going in, whether that's, you can only take a bow into this mission, or like the enemies have extra shields or things like that. And it is just insanely fun. Like, I have stopped caring about the rest of the game and just love spending the 30 minutes to an hour it takes me to do these every day. And like running through it, you always wind up getting like 100,000 credits from doing just like all 3 of them together.
Wow. So you're down the rabbit hole that I'm in with Binding of Isaac Afterbirth, where it's just like, I'll just sit here and play the daily. And it's like, well, I can just do one more thing. And like 2 hours later, I was like, oh, what was I supposed to do something?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did, but I think they've updated their matchmaking algorithm, because more times than not, I wind up with a super balanced team. And I've been trying to think about how they could even put that into a logic string, and all I can come up with is that they've just made an algorithm where it looks for parties that aren't using the same Warframe as you.
Well, and the nice part about the dailies is that it's going to have the highest concentration of people playing that one thing, that thankfully it should have a huge pool of people to pick from when it's trying to make a more balanced team like that.
That's true. It's really, yeah, I love it. I feel bad that anyone starting out probably has months ahead of them before they can get to where they need to be, unless they just, I mean, I guess that is the thing people don't like about Warframes. You could go in and then spend hundreds or thousands of dollars on their in-game currency, and then trade that in-game currency to other players for like maxed out mods or something. But I can't imagine anyone wanting to do that.
Well, I mean, you can make that currency through playing the game, right?
No.
Oh, so you can make there's 2 currencies, you can make one of them by just playing, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think the thing that's great about Warframe now compared to when it was brand new is you could look at that game and say, well, there are these 2 currencies, and one you can get by playing, but the content is a little thin, and you should just pay for it up front. That'll be the easiest way. But now, with all this content that's there now, including the daily stuff, it's pretty easy to say, all right, you can now sit here and play Warframe, and there's so much content that you don't have to worry about paying right now. You don't even have to worry about paying in the first 2 months. You can just generate that in-game currency by just playing the fun part of the game.
Yeah, it's still free to play, and I know people don't like that about it, but I love the sortie stuff. I love everything they've added. There really is a metric ton of content. It's just a lot of it is about grinding. So
yeah.
But I played a bit more Persona Q. The problem with talking about Persona Q on here is I feel like I've said everything I have to say about it.
Kind of a known quantity.
Yeah, still the perfect get in it for 10, 15 minutes, get out, draw a little bit of a map.
What's your main team like in Persona Q?
Right now I am running because I started out with the Persona 3 team.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're playing on like normal difficulty?
I think,
There's like five difficulties. Like,
yeah, I don't. The problem is I don't have it in my 3DS right now, and
ah,
I can't just turn it on and look. I'm either on normal or the one right below normal.
okay.
I don't. It There was a while there. I think that was mostly in 2014, where every RPG I would start, I was like, I just want to do this in easy and blow through it. But
Yeah.
um, I'm still in the group date cafe, but I'm on the last level of it. I just haven't. I think I've started going back to try and kill some of the foes. You know, because you can.
Yeah.
It seems like every two labyrinth levels you go up, you can probably go back to that first one and kill them.
Right.
But yeah, my main team is right now. I think I'm using main character from Persona 3. Uh, I'm not going to remember anyone's name. The girl with the pink shirt from Persona 3.
Yukari.
Yes, Yukari. Um, the
Minato,
dog.
Yukari,
The dog.
Komamaru?
Koro-chan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've been switching out Aigis and Naoto, and I have who's my other frontline person? Oh yeah, Chie.
Oh,
Um,
naturally.
And are you using Fuka or Rise as your navigator?
I'm using one of them in combat and one of them for navigation. I don't remember which.
Rise's
Um,
the one that lets you go quickly into the battle. You get like an immediate first turn or things like that. And Fuka's your healer. She gives you like regen effects and stuff.
yeah, I think I'm using Resay for traveling, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
Um, I try to keep everyone in the mix as best I can, but um, and especially with a lot of the side quests, since it seems more and more they're requiring me to take a certain character somewhere. Like I just got one that required me to take Teddy through the dungeon to find a love potion, for instance. Um, which was funny, but I'd never used Teddy before, so it was
Oh, nice.
uh, leveling him up. But I've also found that just like if I've started doing this grinding thing where I'll just go in and max out the inventory and go back and sell it all. So that way I always have enough money to upgrade whatever random person it does that to me on.
Oh,
Uh,
right. That
so
makes sense.
it wasn't that bad. And especially since I'm only playing it, maybe 15 minutes a day or every other day or something. It's not like I'm noticing the grind. I'm just, what am I doing in here today? But that's a great game.
Yeah, I really wish I had taken the time to play that game enough where it really clicked with me. But I think I was sort of, after playing Etrian Mystery Dungeon, I think I looked at Persona Q and played that a little bit, and I was like, maybe not.
And those dungeon crawlers, I mean, it's like we were talking about before the cast. Like you can't. Well, okay, you can go from 100-hour RPG to 100-hour RPG and so forth, but you really need those little breaks in between where you can
Yeah,
have a definitive experience that you can finish quickly.
little palate cleansers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, I streamed a little bit of Wasteland 2 Director's Cut the other day. Actually, that was probably exactly a month ago. And I don't think you can actually find the stream anymore because I'm really bad about going back and highlighting them. But but I'd never played the director's cut before and wanted to see what that like and what the perk system was like. I'm fairly underwhelmed by the perk system. A lot of them are get a positive, but also get a negative thing.
Were those in the original? Or are these
No,
new?
these are new.
Okay.
Yeah, they allegedly added quite a bit of stuff. Like the perk system is one of them. They evidently redid a lot of the environments. I mean, they had to redraw the entire game because they moved to Unity 5.
Oh, right.
So, I mean, they did a lot of work. They added a lot of voice acting. which is a little weird sometimes. But I don't know. That's still a good game. I enjoyed starting it. I forgot to grab a shovel before I left the compound. It's if you're ever gonna play that game, it really is one of those games you should go find an FAQ and figure out what skills you should assign at the first and concentrate on at the first, and what items you should immediately find, just so you don't miss out on stuff.
It's like playing Planescape Torment, where it's like, all right, just put all these points in this stuff. This you'll have the easiest way through the game. You'll get to see as much as possible. You won't get 10 hours in and be like, oh man, if only I bought that shovel, I could do this. And
Yeah.
spend all this time going back. I have the PS4 version of that in my pile, so I will probably go do that whenever I decide to pick it up, just so I can just see it and I don't have to worry about fighting with it.
And you know what? I did actually. Wait, no, I didn't. Never mind. I was thinking I played it with a Steam controller, but I didn't.
Okay.
But I know they have a bunch of controller setups for it now, so hopefully everything works about it. I'm really curious to know how annoying the Tetris inventory will be with the controller.
Oh
but
yeah.
but I mean, for the most part, it's still a really great game. It's not. I don't think they made the combat that much more tactical just from that initial run through. But I don't know. My advice stays the same. Give each of your starting characters a different talking trait. You have hard ass, smart ass, and kiss ass.
Mm.
Um, and just have them concentrate on one of those. Give them all different guns that require different ammo, so you don't get in a bind. Um, I think originally I had said concentrate on 3 skills apiece for your characters, but after starting this game, I think you probably need to do 4 skills a character.
Mm.
But the talking skills I think are the most important, in addition to some of the more technical skills like computer hacking and mechanics. And then get that shovel so you can dig up piles, and you will just be.
Just think of it like Dragon Age. You have to bring a rogue, you have to bring a mage, you have to bring a warrior. Everybody outside of that, you're fine. You can pick your locks, you can disarm your traps, and anybody else is just gravy.
Yeah. But anywho, I also, of course, have been playing Fallout 4. I have not beat it yet. Every time I go in to play it, I'm like, oh yeah, I need to go to that radiation desert. But I just joined the railroad, and they have these missions they want me to do.
I have things in town to do.
Yeah. So I got tired of waiting for Bethesda to release their official tool set and started modding it.
Mm.
Nina, I think you had talked about using the Nexus Mod Manager before, hadn't you?
Yeah. Yeah, I have.
That thing is amazing. I have. That is like it works like Steam Workshop. Like it's integrated with the website. It automatically updates everything.
So you're talking about mod manager. There's mod manager and there's mod organizer. And mod manager, I'm guessing, is the one you got first. And that one's the easiest one to like adopt, and it makes your modding life so easy. And then after you find that one to have its little quirks, you'll move on to mod organizer, and you'll be like, what did I do with mod manager? Why did I bother with that?
Who could live like this?
Yes, it's crazy because it literally, both of those things will just change your life as you upgrade from one to the other.
That's funny. That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, and like I know you had talked about it on here before, and I just couldn't remember anything you'd said about it, and I didn't go look it up, but I didn't expect it to be so integrated with the website. And it's been a few years since I've downloaded one of these mod managers, and I never got the Nexus one. I don't remember what I was using for Oblivion, but
it's like
and then
one button press.
yeah, and I used Steam Workshop for Skyrim because that was so integrated, but like I feel like they saw Steam Workshop and Nexus said,
Yeah.
"Oh yeah, we should compete."
Yeah, we should do that too.
If you ever try to do something as massive as Skyrim, I will highly recommend you try and figure out mod organizer over mod manager, because that one, I'll explain it real quick. So Mod Manager, what it does is it takes files and it's just like, okay, this file needs to replace this file needs to replace this file, and so it will either replace or add files. But what happens if you're like, well, this file's kind of buggy, this mod's buggy, it's like not working. So then you try to remove those files, and if you're lucky, it will not harm your original files at all. It won't like take away, or it'll fix the old file the way it used to be. But let's say you have two mods that were working on top of an original file. And so it's like overlap. Well, if you remove this one, it doesn't know to fix it so that way this mod's still working. So you break your mods like all over the place when you're messing
Right.
around. What Mod Organizer does, and I'm being super technical here. So with Mod Organizer, what happens is it keeps like a virtual copy of your mod and says every time you load it, it says, okay, all of these mods need to work for this game, and then it puts it aside over here and loads it. But when you unload it, it's like, okay, everything goes back to normal. You still have like all of your files in pristine condition. So if you remove anything, you don't actually remove from your game files or the actual mod files. It's just like it never actually overlaps ever.
Oh wow.
So the mod organizer is very, very clean, and if you ever have a mod that bugs out on you and you remove it, you don't ever have to worry about compatibility problems or your mods needing to be fixed or replaced or reinstalling everything. It's like it's literally like you're just taking your stuff away from it and not having to worry about your mods.
I'm already
So
sold on it. Like, does it integrate with the Nexus website as
yes,
well
it
as?
does. It does. So the only time it doesn't integrate, it will actually let you know. So it works even better, and it may some of it may look a little more technical. Like you actually have to say, okay, this is the data file folder, but for the most part, it loads right in, and you can just one click everything. And I prefer Mod Organizer after I figured out, oh, this is what it does. Yes, it seems like it has more. It's not as immediate one click. Sometimes it's like, oh, you have to click one additional button to tell it, please load this. But it's way, way cleaner on your files, and you never have to worry about losing your main files and having to reinstall Skyrim from scratch, because it
Yeah.
should be working from scratch.
Wow, that's awesome.
So it's
I
really
will look
good.
into that. Yeah, like because I really wanted to wait for those Bethesda tools, but then I started reading up on it online and discovered one, Bethesda wants to release them through Bethesda.net, and they're going to use whatever system they create there
Oh,
to
jeez.
implement them on the consoles. So on that extent, it's never going to come to Steam Workshop, and to the other extent, that also means that anyone making mods on Nexus is also going to have to do them
Right.
over, I'm guessing, with
Yeah, pretty much. That's what's going to have to happen if they make any changes to the main files, which is where Mod Organizer would actually shine over Mod Manager, because you would just say, okay, this mod is no longer working. I'm just going to turn it off, and you don't have to worry about checking your files again to see, did it ruin any of my other files? Is something not working? No, it's just you turned it off, and it's like a light switch. I don't
Well-
want this mod on. Oh, I forgot the last amazing thing about it. I totally forgot. This is what really sells me on Mod Organizer. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's say you have a Skyrim game, because I keep going back to Skyrim because this is what happens. But you have a Skyrim game that you want, like, oh, I want all of these clothing mods and these weapon mods and this and that. But then, like, let's say maybe you want to play through where you have like a survival mods all attached to it. Well, you save one profile to have like all your base mods, as I would call it. Like, these are the mods that no matter what game of Skyrim I want to have implemented 100% of the time. So let's say that's just your hot fixes and all your extra debug things. It's like, okay, this is a clean file one, and I want it to have better waters or whatever like that. I always want pretty waters for whatever reason. Well, then you can take that profile and copy that profile and say, okay, with this profile I want survivalist mods. But let's say maybe you don't want to have vampires in this one or whatever, then you say no vampires mod added on top of this profile. You could have 25 different profiles or even more. I don't care how many profiles. And each one has a different set of mods. And not only that, the save files for each of them can be separated so that way I only want to see these save files when I load up Skyrim. I only want to see the save files for my survivalist one, or I only want to see the save files for vanilla Skyrim, for example.
God, that's like magic.
And you literally, you don't have to deal with any of that. Or you could have a save file that says, hey, I want the save file to go across all of them. Now that one's a little crazy and buggy, but you could do that if you wanted.
Wow. So that sounds like the way to go.
Yeah. I'll be changing over, I guess, later.
Yeah.
Yes. If you need help figuring that one out, I don't mind helping. But like Mod Organizer has really changed my life of Skyrim and mods in general that integrate with it.
Well, and I was just gonna say, I question whether the Bethesda Net stuff is even going to take off in general, because I think it's going to take them forever to create that, and I
feel
think
like
when they finally do create it, everyone's going to be so already invested in all the crap that's already been made that it's going to be a interesting changeover. But who knows?
Bethesda fans are really, really good at modding.
Yeah.
Like really, really,
Very
really
quickly.
good.
Yeah. I mean, considering they're making them before the tools are even out, you know. But like some of the ones I'm running is, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about a couple of them. Like I got a water one that I thought was pretty good. I got, of course, the full dialogue one,
Naturally.
which hopefully that comes to console.
Yeah.
I got an item relabeler basically, where it takes all of your miscellaneous items, and in bracket parentheses at the front of them, it says password or key or clothing or
nice.
helmet. It is so helpful. It's like, where did I put that comic book to put it? I got to put it on the rack I just made. But
Yeah.
now it's a lot faster. I downloaded a mod where when you're not shooting or aiming your gun, you kind of hold it like that. So you're not, talking to someone with a gun pointed at their face.
Right.
I downloaded the Darker Nights mod, which that one I'm kind of iffy on because it it recreates Magic Hour at night where you just can't see anything.
Oh no.
And it looks really good, but it's just like, oh, I just stepped on another mine.
Yeah.
Oh god.
But I don't know. I'm sticking with it for a little bit. I don't think any of the other mods I got are probably worth mentioning, but I don't know. That game's all right.
Yeah. That game is okay.
And then lastly, I played. Well, I bought a Wii U, and I picked up Xenoblade
Chronicles X.
Yes, I wrote down Xenogears Chronicles X.
That's all right. You want to tell me there's a new Xenogears? I'm on board.
Well, this game has mechs that I haven't gotten to use yet.
Neither have I.
Yeah, we were talking about 100-hour-long RPGs. earlier.
Yeah.
Well.
How far have you gotten?
Barely anywhere at all. Like, I've maybe played 3 or 4 hours of the game.
Okay, so you probably haven't gotten to the part where you can recruit new people to your group.
No, I'm on, I think I just started chapter 3. I think that's right. Because I signed up for the Curators Guild, or whatever it's called. And I was trying to do some of the missions, but, a lot like Xenoblade Chronicles, they give you a bunch of missions you can't do for a while. Although I did manage to do one. Like, I was supposed to find this guy's comm or something. It was, like, guarded by these 2 enemies that were like 10 or 20 levels higher than me, and I kept dying going from the front, but the game doesn't seem to care if you die, much like the previous one. So then I found a way to kind of Skyrim up the cliff, and then ran and grabbed it and then ran off. It worked out, but that game looks really good. And actually, one thing, the character creator I really like because you can. Well, it tells you the voice actors and
It
actresses.
straight up tells you the voice actor and actress. It's like,
Oh,
do you
nice.
want this voice actor who is actually,
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty,
I thought it was interesting.
pretty much. Like I rolled up a lady and looked at the list and said, "Yes, I want Mary Elizabeth.
Mary
Uh,
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
That's exactly.
Why would you
I
say
want
no
I
to
want to
that?
sound like the Major. I mean,
I
come on."
went with Mitsuru's voice actress.
Hmm.
It was the first one. I'm blanking on her name all of a sudden, but I
She
went with
sound
her.
Mitsuru always sounds like Mary Elizabeth McClinton.
Yeah. Did you guys get the additional download packs for it to look better or load faster? I don't remember which one it is. I
I
think it
did not.
looks better.
I I know it loads faster too, but
Okay.
I've downloaded those, but I didn't discover those. I've not played it since I discovered
Do
and
they
downloaded.
actually load faster?
I
I
don't
think
know.
that's what it's for. It does
I
some
need
like
that.
caching business or something. I think it makes it look a little bit better, but mostly load faster.
I will
There's a-
say that the loading's pretty bad.
Yeah,
There's
Wii
like
U across the board is pretty slow.
there's like 3 or 4 of them like that you can download that are free
Okay.
like that.
Yeah, there's a
Uh,
whole bunch on the store.
Yeah, that was it was kind of funny because like it took a while. I won't go into this nightmare setup process I had with my Wii U, but after I got it set up and then Susie announced she wanted to play Shadows of Mordor, it was pretty great just having that Wii U controller to start Xenoblade Chronicles on.
Yeah, isn't it nice just saying like, okay, cool, you can play that. I will be over here playing Super Mario
Yeah.
World.
And I also love that it will function as a TV remote without the Wii U even on. So
That's true. Yeah.
because I always lose my TV remote, I am not going to lose this giant freaking.
true.
Tray, lunch tray.
I didn't. I will say I thought the touch screen was going to be bad for some reason because everyone was real upset about it not being multi-touch,
Right.
and I see why they went with single touch because there's very little few times where you probably even want to touch the screen. So
You're just using it as a keyboard, basically.
yeah, I mean that's the closest time. Is it? I don't even know if I can get both thumbs on it. I have to go
I-
grab it.
I think I have to like set it in my lap and go boop boop.
Yeah.
I don't know. Xenoblade Chronicles X is weird because it doesn't like its main story isn't strong at all that I can tell.
It's not at all.
Like from Xenoblade Chronicles, where it's like Xenoblade Chronicles has a really good intro. I
Mhm.
think like the first 4 hours of that game is freaking solid, and then you get to Xenoblade Chronicles X, and it's like, here's your character, and they woke up, and here's a person, and
Earth is done or something. Who knows? Whatever. Space.
Yeah.
welcome
Space.
to our city. It is filled with 100 mechanical systems that you have to learn.
Oh my god. Town is huge.
Yeah. And I don't like in the I'm just gonna start saying first and second one. I'm tired of saying Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X. So like
Yeah.
in the first one, like you'd run into a person and then you just have to go find someone else to talk to them and this and that. And in like this one, there's literally hundreds of people in this city, and I have no idea if I'm doing anything for any of them or not.
You just help all of them.
I,
I
also
just-
know like somebody's going to like comment about how we keep calling it X and I keep calling it X and it's supposed to be cross. And I know, but I don't care.
I feel like in the U.S. we don't use cross like that much. Renning 109 in chat says the 3 cliche RPG openings: you're in bed, you're in jail, your town is on fire.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty accurate.
Well, yeah, this one just it has a kind of long cutscene at the beginning, actually. But it does have. I gotta tell you, one of the characters in it is quickly becoming my favorite because she's like the first
Is
time
it
you're.
Lily?
I think so. It's the little 12-year-old looking chick,
She's 13, yeah.
13. It's when she starts talking dirty about the mech walking by is when like that was one.
Yes.
Awesome.
Where she's just like, oh yes, walk it, baby. And I was like, oh my god, what is going on with the 13-year-old cat calling the robot?
So, That's a pretty great moment. Um, but I don't have a lot to say about that game right now. The art book looks really cool. I actually kind of like some of the art and the artwork better than the graphics on the game. But like, cause the art book is like freaking manga artwork. Like, oh, this looks like the guy from Berserk drew a freaking mech destroying things, and then
Yeah.
like
I
the
want to play
game
that
is
game.
translated 3D anime. So
Yeah.
like a lot of the characters look really weird to me, and I
Yeah.
like Japanese animation, so it's not me having an issue with that art style. It's that I feel like they didn't translate that art style as well as they could have.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, that's all I got.
All right, Mia, what about you?
Well, we already talked about Xenoblade, so the next game that I played was Super Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, the newest one for the 3DS.
Okay.
Um,
I've always been interested in these games.
I really like this Super Pokemon Mystery Dungeon a lot. I think it might be my favorite one out of all of them so far. Uh, the number one thing that sold it for me was that I always felt like whenever the Mystery Dungeons came out, they had like, oh, there's 100 to 200 Pokemon, but it's not the full cast of 100 and 200 of any particular Pokemon. It's like, oh, there's some Gen 1, some Gen 2, 3, 4, but not like, oh, we're going to have Pidgey, but we're going to be missing, Rattata. Like, I know that's not the case, but it's kind of like you make some weird choices here. Oh, we're going to have the garbage bag Pokemon, but we're not going to have,
So it's not
some of
like
your
a
favorites.
greatest hits. It's just sort of
Yeah.
like a
It's just random bag. Like, it was
Yeah.
just like, we're just going to pick a random bag of Pokemon, and these are the ones you're going to have
here
to
we
deal
got
with.
720 of them. You need to pick 100. So
Yeah. It
let's
was
do
just
it
like
randomly.
maybe they had like a hat and they just like
Right.
mixed the names around and like, oh, okay, we got this one.
I
It
got
was just
coughing.
kind of
Yeah.
that's the one that would go in the game. But this one, every Pokemon is in there from all the generations,
Oh, wow.
every single one of them. I am so enthused about that. I couldn't even contain it. And you get to recruit them all. It's not like the other thing about the old ones was you can only recruit so many of them before you have to kind of release some and re-recruit other ones. And so it was just kind of like this weird situation where it's just like, well, I can't only have these many Pokemon, so I guess I'll only recruit these guys.
Yeah.
And this one, it's like you get to recruit everybody. And whenever you fail your mission, what you get to do is you actually get thrown back to the main screen of the game, and you get to call. You can either call for a rescue from somebody, or rescue yourself with your own team of Pokemon that's going to go in and save your group that's in there. So you pick another 3 Pokemon to go dive and save you. So
That's pretty cool.
it is. I really love it. They added a couple new things to this mystery dungeon. The equipment works a little different. Like you get a looplet, something like that. I don't know. It's like a bracelet that has little slots in it, so that way every time you dive in, you get to add crystals to it, so you can add like, oh, I want attack boost. Oh, I want to be able to hit twice with my actions or something like that. The crystals inside them disappear. Wasn't that rescue team in Etrian Mystery Dungeon? I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Renning109 asked in chat, wasn't that rescue team in Etrian Mystery Dungeon? That's correct. I was trying to figure out where that was from, but yeah, basically you could say, all right, I got lost in the dungeon. Either I'll reload my save file, or I can ask for a friend online to come and help me, or I can send like my, let's be honest, my B team.
B squad.
Yeah, like send them in to go recover. And yeah, I was thinking like, man, that sounds cool, but where have I thought I played something with that. But yes, that's absolutely
I
right.
never lost in Etrian Mystery Dungeon, so I don't know.
Yeah, it was a cool idea, and I think it was in something else too. I don't remember what, but I think it was in something else recently. I think it started with when they put, I think it was Sharon the Wanderer on 3DS. I think at that point you could ask your friends to help you in the dungeon, so you didn't have to lose all your stuff. Yeah, and I think it kind of grew from there.
Yeah, so that's one of the really cool things I'm glad they put in this, because I have died a lot. A absolute ton in this game.
Those games are deceptively hard.
It is really, really hard. I did not realize what I was getting myself into, especially when you're required to bring like certain people into the dungeon with you. So the thing is like I'm like level 10 or something, but one of the Pokemon I recruited was like, I don't know, a Dragonite that's level 62.
Oh wow.
So whenever I wipe in a dungeon, I'm like, Dragonite, Salamence, you guys who are like level 60, 80 something, come save me. And they
SEAL team comes in.
So it's not really the B squad that comes in to save me. It's more like, you know, the supreme awesome best squad ever.
They're rappelling in with their night vision and their M4 rifles.
The best thing is like if I'm in like a dungeon that's like in the air or something, or like has a sky box that they can actually fly around in rather than inside a cave, they just fly over the dungeon walls. They don't even pay attention to the corridors. Crazy. So they just fly right through and rescue. It's amazing because then half the time monsters can't attack them because they're just like soaring into the places that no enemy can walk besides flying.
Wow.
So I really like this Super Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I feel like it's definitely the strongest one that they've had. I feel like, you know, it's still Pokemon. It's still a very it's not like a dripping awesome story, but it's pretty good for what it is, the Pokemon story. I just like it. It's definitely a good mystery dungeon for sure. Yeah. For sure.
They're just solid games. Like they're not really exceptional. They're just really good.
Yeah. So that was that. The other game that I played, the last one that I really played a lot of was Yokai Watch.
Oh yeah.
And so let me start by saying, like, I am one of those people who saw Yokai Watch. Oh, it's just another Pokemon game.
Yeah, it's like 3 years ago. It's like, it's Pokemon. It's never gonna come out.
It's like Pokemon or Digimon. It's like it's whatever. And then like I started playing it and I was like, this is not Pokemon at all. Yeah. Anybody who says this is Pokemon does not know what Pokemon is, because this is not Pokemon at all. This is a very story-centric game, extremely story-centric, where the capturing of monsters is kind of and the actual fighting of monsters is the most uncontrollable control you could possibly have.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to describe it other than it's like you have zero control, but you have control of this fight.
I think the weird thing about the battle system for me is basically, if nobody's seen the battle system, on the bottom screen you have this wheel and it has 6 of your yokai on it. And these are just spirits. That's where the Pokemon looks, you know, that's where people think the Pokemon stuff comes. You're collecting these yokai, they're all in your party. They have different affinities and everything. But the weird thing about the battle system is you're always spinning this wheel, and it basically, the 3 yokai that are on the top half are the ones that are in your party at that moment. So like, even if you spin the wheel by 1 slot, you still have 2 people that were on your team before, but now you have one of them, but it's not, oh, I want to bring in Waka and get rid of Lulu. It's just sort of like, well, just everybody shift over one, and oh, look who comes in. You know, it's very, it's really weird.
And you put them beside each other based on, like, do they pair well together? Do they get bonuses together? And how they attack and what special abilities they have. And they are constantly attacking or doing their own thing or resting or whatever it is they do. And like they're fully AI doing that, but you get to control when they do their super moves. And then you have like a little interactive thing that you do with their super moves. And whenever they're pulled out of combat, you do things to break them out of their status effects if they're affected by them. It's like you have no control over this fight, but you're still controlling aspects of the fight from the background.
Yeah.
It's really weird, and I don't know how to describe it other than you have to either watch it yourself on like YouTube or try it yourself, because I think there's a demo that that you can get for the
I
game.
think so, yeah.
And the capturing system doesn't work like Pokemon either. It's not like, oh, I defeated this Pokemon or I got it really low and now I can capture it. It's just kind of like random chance. So it's more like the Dragon Quest, like the ones where you actually recruit sort of way, where it's like you defeated the enemy, hopefully it joins you. And if
Yeah.
it doesn't, it's kind of like, well, I guess I'll try again. And aside from the story ones, which will like guarantee you to capture them, it's pretty random.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it is the furthest. I wouldn't say it's the furthest thing for Pokemon, but I feel like calling it a Pokemon ripoff or this game plays like Pokemon, it looks like Pokemon is really not the thing you would want to say about this game, because it's really
Yeah.
not. Um, I like it. I like it more than I thought I would actually like it. I kind of got it thinking, well, I kind of want to play something Pokemon-ish. I was playing Mystery Dungeon. I was like, I feel like playing Pokemon. I was like, I guess I'll give this level 5 thing a chance, because they're really trying to push it over here in the West. And I started playing it. And I was like, this is not Pokemon.
Yeah. That's not what I was expecting.
This is really good, but it's not Pokemon.
Yeah.
So other than that, I didn't play anything else. How about you, Boston?
I have started Undertale. I'm about an hour and a half in that. And I see why Musum doesn't like this game, and I really like this game. And I think Undertale is its own worst enemy in its first hour. And to me, the real strength of Undertale is its characters. And I think the very first character you run in, the second character you run into is Toriel, who is
Yeah.
a nearly interesting character that as soon as you leave the tutorial area, every single individual person and enemy you run into is hugely better than Toriel really ever was. And I think Undertale's first hour is basically a tutorial where you're going through this dungeon by yourself, you're solving these slightly obfuscated but simple puzzles once you figure out what the game wants you to do. And going through that whole area, you're by yourself. And that's kind of the worst part of Undertale, is when it's just you by yourself. And as soon as you get out of there, you run into Sans and Papyrus, who are immediately way better characters, and the game becomes way funnier than it ever was in that tutorial area. And you get individual battles that are funnier and way more interesting. You know, there's that really sad ghost at the beginning, which is great. But the rest of them are just kind of fine. But I ran into two dogs that were so excited, and I could eventually mercy them because I rolled around in some mud in the battle that made me smell like a dog, and then I stopped moving so they didn't think I was there anymore, and then I pet them. They freaked out because a dog was petting another dog, and that blew their mind. And then the battle was over. Like, that's the part of Undertale that's really great. If anybody's looking to play Undertale, just get through the tutorial. Like, just sit down for your first time and just get through that first. It took me like 45 minutes. It'll probably take you 45 minutes to an hour. Just motor right on through that, and everything after that is way better. I think if the humor doesn't click with you, or like its quirkiness doesn't click with you, it seems like it just doesn't really get worse, but it kind of continues to double down on that as it goes. So if you're not really finding it funny, like by the time you get to the first town, maybe just kind of bounce out of that game.
It has a very Earthbound sort of way of telling jokes, where it's like, these are some really bad puns, these are some really bad jokes, but I'm finding you funny because you're doing it. And if you don't kind of join in with the joke, it's kind of like, this is gonna get real old on you.
Yeah, and the only thing that's I think has been really frustrating for me is I'm playing it. I'm going the mercy route. so I'm not really fighting anybody. I think the part that frustrates me is at some point when you're just trying to get through an area and there are random battles, sometimes you're fighting the same set of enemies time and time again, and if you're going through the mercy route, it gets I don't really want to fight all of them. Like there's enough enemies in there that I think they could get away with not having you fight them multiple times. But sometimes you run into some, and it's like, all right, either I have to smack them a couple times and then do something, and then I can mercy, or I have to go through a couple of steps and then mercy them. And it's just, I would rather just run away because there's no
Runaway option, yeah.
yeah. There's almost the flee option seems like it's pretty low risk. So, but so far I'm about an hour and a half in. I got to that first town, and it's just really weird, and I've been having a lot of fun with it, and I think it's pretty funny and pretty charming, and I'm curious. Even Toby Fox estimates it at about 6 hours, so I'm about a quarter of the way there, and I'm just kind of curious to get through it and see, on the first playthrough, how much I enjoy it.
Did you? I watched your first stream, Boston.
Yeah.
Just because I was curious, and also for the record, I spent 5 hours in Undertale.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay, so you're
That is how bad I am at the combat because I only got to the third boss.
Oh my god.
okay.
So imagine any of the boss battles you done multiple times, or any of the random encounters you did multiple times, because I
Yeah.
don't typically play bullet hells, and that
Oh,
combat
right.
is very much. It's a very creative looking bullet hell. I will give it that, but it is bullet hell. But
And I'm playing with
I'm
a PS4
curious-
controller, so that's a little bit of assistance on my side too.
and I was doing mouse and keyboard, and which I didn't like. But did you start the game over after your first stream?
No,
Okay.
did I do something wrong on this stream?
I'm just I'm not going to tell you did something wrong. I'm just curious. I don't. I've heard you did something that I have heard negative things about when you get to the end boss. But
The tutorial area.
the game
Oh,
because
okay.
of how the tutorial ended. for you.
Interesting. Okay.
So I'll be curious. I'll be curious how that plays out for you.
Yeah, I'm really playing.
Sam, tell me what he did privately later.
We'll talk about it in between segments here. Yeah, I'm kind of. I know there's at least 2, if not 3, paths to the game, and I know the game encourages you to play it multiple times because characters will remember what happened to them previously in further playthroughs. But part of what I wanted to do when I went into Undertale is, because it's such a short experience, I kind of wanted to go in and just say, like, all right, I'm just gonna wing it. I want to play the mercy route because I think it's, even if it's not successful, or even if I'm not successful, I'm curious to see if the game will resolve itself in an interesting way if I don't fight anybody. And at the end of the tutorial area, I thought, even if I could go the mercy route, this really isn't a spoiler, it's like at 45 minutes in. Even if I could go the mercy route, I felt like the game was pushing me in a way where I was just kind of riding it out, where it's like, okay, I guess this is what I have to do. Whoops, that was a huge bummer. So yeah, if it does impact my ending, that will be pretty interesting.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
I won't.
Yeah, but so far, I'm enjoying Undertale for what it is. It's this weird, quirky, strange oddity. So hopefully it holds up through the rest of my playthrough. If you want to watch it, my playthrough of that, I have it up on my YouTube channel. You can just find it at bostonhannon.com. And the only other game, I've been on vacation from work for like a week and a half here.
Yeah.
And the only thing I've been playing is The Witcher 3. And I'm at the end of that game. So this isn't really a spoiler, but I want to talk a little bit about the ending of the game. So basically, you're at the very beginning. You are not really asked, but voluntold by one of the rulers in one of the kingdoms to go find Ciri, who's Geralt's basically adopted daughter. And the whole game is, let's go find out where she is and let's go save her. So, not a spoiler really. Near the end of the game, you do find her. My problem is the whole game builds up to this huge point, and it's a really great point. It's very satisfying, but there's more stuff after that, and I'm kind of like, okay, let's wrap this up. Like, I did it, yay me! But like, let's
pull on the Return of the King.
Yeah, like saying. I'm done. Like, let's just get the credits, because I've done everything else in the game. I've done all side quests. I've done every single Witcher contract. I have all but 4 of the Gwent cards. Like,
how long is it carrying on after that moment? Like, is it?
It's not that it's really lengthy. It's just like there are a couple scenes in there that are really interesting, and there's I don't want to spoil some of that stuff, but there's a reason why you're still doing more stuff, and story-wise it makes sense, but this was kind of the game's second crescendo, because the first one is the Bloody Baron quest, which if you haven't played The Witcher 3 and you haven't done the Bloody Baron, I don't know what you're playing. But like by the end of that alone could have been like that's basically like half of The Witcher 3. That stuff is so extraordinarily good that by the end of it you're sort of like, well, okay, let's see if anything else is as good. And I feel like leading up to the point where you find and you save Ciri, all of that stuff was good too. So like by that time it's like, okay, I've been through 2 of these sections that were really good. Right. And I feel like I've done something. And oh my god, there's more. Like it's I don't want to say it's too much of a good thing, but I kind of want to I want to be done with it. But so I looked up a walkthrough, and I have like maybe 2 more quests. So I just need to do this stuff, and I just need to like bang out this game. And I have the second GameStop was selling the physical version of the expansion on PS4. So it comes with this really big box, and it comes with a digital download code for the DLC. But it comes with a full set of Gwent cards and all the tokens and icons you need to actually play Gwent. So I thought that was pretty cool. So finishing this, I have 10 more hours of The Witcher 3 because I have Hearts of Stone. So I'm kind of like, by this point, I know that there's more waiting for me. So I just kind of want to get through this so I can get to the DLC. And I don't know. It's really good. I think it was number 5 on my TVGP top 10 list. I kind of wish I put it higher because it's really, really good. I think it reminds me a lot of the stuff that I liked from Dragon Age Inquisition, but kind of done better because every side quest matters, and every side quest, a lot of stuff in Inquisition was really great, but a lot of the side quests were go find me 3 of these types of herbs and bring it back so I can make a potion. And then he's like, well, because my wife is sick. But you don't meet anybody. Like, they don't really have a story. In The Witcher, you meet them and their family, and they have a story and they have a history, and you want to go do this stuff because it's impacting somebody's life in this world, and as a Witcher you can make a difference for these people. And I think that's what is really pushing me along to do all this side quest stuff in The Witcher 3, because all of it is interesting and all of it has at least some little bit of story to it, which doesn't always happen. So it's really good. It's really great. I think, like anybody who's played it, I wish the upgrade system was a little bit better for the ability trees. But if you're playing a normal difficulty like I am, you kind of almost don't need it. And going into the potions tree completely breaks that game in a really amazing way, which is weird to say. I've gotten deep enough into that tree where if if an enemy is going to hit me with an attack, it slows the game down by half so I can dodge out of the way. So basically don't get hit anymore, and that's pretty amazing. But yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing that up just to see where it resolves. I've been making a lot of really important decisions lately, and continuing in traditional Witcher fashion, I feel like nobody really wins with most of those decisions, but I'm kind of making the best ones I can, so we'll see, I guess. But yeah, that's... Witcher 3 is good. Should play it. But that's all I've been playing this month, so let's take a break. Oh wow, I'm recording for a while.
Yeah.
So what did he do? What did he do in Undertale? What did he do?
Yeah, now I'm curious.
He killed Toriel.
I didn't think there was a way out of that.
Oh my god!
I thought that was where that thing was going.
Oh my god!
Also, that game.
I'm gonna have to load up his
that
YouTube
game
video.
kind of tricks you when you start attacking Toriel. By the way.
Oh my god!
If you, I don't know if I should spoil it on the stream, but the amount of times you have to give her mercy is absolutely absurd.
It is.
Oh, you just have to keep trying at mercy.
So okay,
it's literally said 26 times.
You think that you're going to be killed by her, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is you'll be down to like the last sliver of your heart, and you go into that bullet hell, and you see the things coming at you, and then they'll literally avoid you. They'll do everything they can do
That's
to not touch you.
Kill her.
So.
Yeah, because what happened is
she won't kill you.
She will
not.
Because when you start damaging her, she actually starts doing that. And because she kept doing that, I was like, okay, so I just need to hurt her enough, and then I'll get mercy like you can with a lot of enemies. And you basically get to about halfway on her health. You hit her once, and it just murders her. It takes the entire rest of her health away. And I was just like, oh God, what have I done? So yes,
I'm gonna have to watch, because if you just mercy over and over and over, she won't kill you. She'll just she'll get a sadder look on her face constantly until it's just like she's got tears in her eyes because she cannot actually hurt you.
Wow.
And
second playthrough, I'll do that.
So here's a actually technical question I have that I wondered about.
Yeah.
So you might know this, Mina. Hopefully it's not a huge spoiler for anyone else. The practice dummy.
Yeah.
Can you get the final everyone's happy ending if you destroy that first practice dummy?
I think you can.
Okay.
I think you can, because I'm pretty sure all she does is chastise you for it.
She does. She's like, you're not supposed to attack that thing.
And that's
there's just a moment later on in the game. I don't want to spoil anything. But let's just say there's another moment in the game that makes me wonder if that part's important too.
Oh, interesting.
But anyway, sorry.
I went full mercy on mine. I'm looking at Boston now, like, how could you kill Tori?
Well, honestly, I don't think I would have figured out to mercy that many times. I think I tried
curious.
it a couple times, and I was just like, "This isn't gonna work."
The dialogue keeps changing as you do it. There keeps updating, and it was at first I thought am I supposed to hurt her? I was just gonna mercy the entire time, and then when I got down to my last health bar, I'm like, well, this is it, and then I noticed, oh, she's not gonna hurt me. She can't hurt me.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she loves me too much. She can't hurt me. And then I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I just killed her.
Oh my god!
I'm gonna have a really weird ending.
Now I'm gonna have to watch a YouTube video.
Yeah.
Right now.
That game forced my hand.
There's okay. Well, the part I'm going to be curious about is if you get to the end and then have to start the game over instead of beating it. But
Oh,
uh,
interesting. Well,
we'll
we'll
see.
find out because I'm gonna.
It's not that
Uh,
long a game.
I probably won't play more today, but I
It's a really
will.
short game.
I'll play more tomorrow and upload a video. So
And evidently, they designed it with this stuff in mind anyway. If they have all this extra dialogue that happens when you go through the game again, even if you're reloading
yeah, I
from.
can't believe how much content he put in that game just as one person.
Yeah.
It's incredible. Man, crazy. All right. Well, do we have anything? Got another email actually. Um,
I'm sorry, Tomaine. I can't help it. I got excited because I was like, "Oh my God, Boston killed Toriel."
well, you know,
Well, and arguably, you will have the more interesting experience with the game now, since you're not just doing the ending where you'll get to the end and beat it, and then feel bad if you play it over again.
well, and I'm kind of excited because at this point, at that one decision, I've kind of made my own Undertale playthrough. You know, it's not like this perfect Mercy playthrough or anything.
Yeah.
It's just this
Interesting.
kind of like, here's what I
What is gonna
thought the game
happen?
wanted from me.
What is going to happen because he made that choice?
There's
That's got to be a
actually
huge branch. That's got to be a huge branch.
Kill Screen Daily actually has an article because that particular person who wrote the article did the same thing.
Hmm.
Oh,
Which is why I'm wondering if you'll even beat it. But we'll find out.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
I'm interested.
All right, you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Yep.
Excuse me. All right, let's start in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk RPG releases for January 2016. I'm really looking forward to Dragon's Dogma coming out on PC on the 13th. If you haven't played Dragon's Dogma, please go play it. It's super weird and super great. It's such a Capcom game, and it's so good in a way that I'm not sure I can entirely explain.
And if you haven't gotten it yet, definitely wait for this version if you can get it on PC.
Yeah, and if it comes out and it's kind of broken, Durante will fix it anyway. So, Darkest Dungeon comes out on PC on the 19th. This is the, hey, we're done with early access and the game is kind of 1.0 at this point. So, I think it's on Steam sale right now. If you're watching this live and you're interested in it, just go buy it because I think it gets more expensive when it comes out. Finally, I think the Steam sale ends the day this episode comes out, so hopefully you picked it up. If not, it's supposed to be really great. So, Final Fantasy Explorers comes out on the 3DS on the 26th. Both Mina and I are pretty excited about that game, whatever it is.
I am extremely excited. I actually got the demo of this game on my Japanese 3DS and started playing it, and it is basically an introductory to like how a Monster Hunter Final Fantasy game would play. So, if you've ever been like, I don't know how to get into the Monster Hunter games, this is a pretty cute way of trying to get into that sort of a game style.
I also got this confused because on the Amazon page when I search for Final Fantasy Explorers, the logo looks almost exactly the same as World of Final Fantasy, and I was like, oh, it's coming out on PS4. Nope, that's
No.
the other unknown Final Fantasy game. So that's coming out later this year. And last but not least, Dragon Quest Builders comes out on the PS4 on the 26th. That's Dragon Quest Minecraft.
I want it.
I,
I want it.
I want it to be good, but I'm so confused by it.
I am so getting that. You said is that North American? Really? PS4?
That's what
Dragon Quest Builders?
yeah, let's Quest Builders.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that was coming.
Dragon Quest Builders, blah blah blah, and now it's not on any website. Maybe, or maybe not.
Oh my god, I need it.
I feel like all Square has been doing like the last half years emailing me about Dragon Quest, so it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
It was on
So-
another listing, and now it has disappeared. So maybe it's out, maybe it's not. Don't quote me on it. Don't sue me. All right,
I think it might be. I think it might be just Japan. It's coming out on PS4, PS3, the Vita.
Oh, in
and it
Japan.
looks like January 28th, 2016.
Okay,
Because
if
I
you're in Japan,
want that game.
then go pick it
Oh,
up.
I want that game so bad.
Speaking of Square Enix, let's talk about news stories. Genuinely surprising, Final Fantasy IX being re-released on PC and mobile. Coming out here not too far away. I don't know if they have an exact date. Soon, they are saying. But it sounds like they're not really remastering it or anything, or remaking it or anything, just kind of a remaster. That's going to be interesting. Final Fantasy IX is not really super accessible anymore because of incredibly long load times. So this might make me replay Final Fantasy IX again.
Is this the first time that this Final Fantasy IX is actually going to be like re-released ever, or has it been? I don't.
It
You can get
was.
a digital copy on PSN, but it's just the PS1 version.
Yeah, and they had one for PSP, but that was the PS1 Classic. So yeah, I think this is the first time it'll be like actually re-released as a new version, and not like here's the
Yeah.
PS1 version again, whatever. Yeah, I don't. This I think I only played Final Fantasy IX once and really liked it and loved the Chocobo mini game, and like never managed to play it again for some reason. Interesting. And Square Enix also says, hey, Final Fantasy 15, that's going to be out in 2016. And that's it. So, please look forward to that at some point in this year. Probably around the same time Persona 5 comes out. If you've been looking
Bad
at
idea.
Square
Bad
Enix's
idea.
Facebook page.
It's a bad idea, guys.
Yeah.
You're not gonna win.
No. Sorry. All right, let's move on to emails here. We have one from David C. Continuing this Square Enix train with an email titled Final Fantasy VII. Says, hi all, I was just watching the PlayStation Experience where they showed off new footage for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. Being a late adopter of video games, I've never played a Final Fantasy game. What I was wondering was, do you think this remake would be a good introduction to Final Fantasy for someone who has never played one? I should probably say that I've developed an instant dislike for Cloud. I don't like his character model or that ridiculously huge sword. Is he always as broody and emo as the trailer made him out to be? Does he become more likable as the game progresses? Well, anyways, I thought I'd just ask you what I thought. Thanks for the enjoyable show. I look forward to it every month. Thank you very much for listening. I think
Quote Leon the Professional, no, always like this.
well, I think the hard part about the Final Fantasy VII Remake is Cloud throughout the majority of the old version of Final Fantasy VII is a hard character to break through the shell of. And I don't know what they're going to do with the remake, because they tried to do a little bit of work in Advent Children to soften him up a little bit, make him a little bit more likable. So 7 Remake might extend that a little bit and make him a little bit less gruff. So maybe
The thing is like if you play Final Fantasy VII and compare it to like every other Final Fantasy VII sort of / change that they've made, 7 didn't really have a character that was broody or emo at all. That is the new characterization they gave him to try and capture whatever crowd they were going for after Final Fantasy VII came out.
Right.
He was not that sort of emo, broody character, which is where I'm kind of curious how they're going to do the remake. Are they going to try to keep up that broody emo image that the new, like the people that look fondly back at Final Fantasy VII say, oh, he was this really edgy character? Or are they actually going to realize that Final Fantasy VII was a pretty corny, pretty silly, pretty campy
pretty
game?
goofy game.
Like, from start to finish, there was like so many goofy aspects of it, like a dog trying to fit in a soldier suit, or Cloud cross-dressing, or like
that CPR minigame
I mean-
after you jump a dolphin over a power tower.
there was so much goof in that game.
Yeah.
You see, I agree there's a lot of goof, but like if you think about all of Cloud's lines, especially at the beginning of the game, it's just like him being a jerk.
I think
Like he doesn't want anything to do with anyone and just wants to do the mission and get paid, and then suddenly he might care, but he doesn't want to admit it. And then of course the big spoiler that will inevitably make you like him even less. Personally, I like Cloud a lot as a character, but I don't. I think anyone who finds him brooding and emo, I don't think their opinion's going to change as the game goes. I think it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
Well, and I think Cloud and Squall both fall into the same trap of, it's almost like the Tales of the Abyss problem, where you have to have a character that's so unlikable and so this specific mold, almost like a cliche, so that a big thing can happen and that character can grow from it. And I think both Cloud and Squall are so like matter of fact and taciturn
Squall
at the
is
beginning.
really broody.
And Squall is very broody. And like they have to have this thing happen so that they can become this other character. They can become this better person. And I think overall the writing in Final Fantasy VII is probably fine. The English translation we got is pretty lackluster, especially nowadays. And I think that hurts a lot, where you can make Cloud as an interesting character, this like lone wolf rogue at the beginning where he's just getting the job done. But playing through the intro of Final Fantasy VII again the other day, it's sort of like, these guys aren't really characters yet. They kind of need to get through the first couple hours. When they get to Nibelheim and they get
Got
into
a bunch of
Cloud's
terrorists
backstory,
blowing stuff up.
yeah, like they get a little bit more interesting. To answer his first question, though, I think that's a really interesting one. Do we think that the remake would be a good intro to Final Fantasy? I almost think you shouldn't wait that long, and I think I'm kind of torn, because I think there's one of 3 Final Fantasy games you should play as your first one: 4, 6, or 7. I think those are kind of like the tentpole first Final Fantasy games, and I kind of don't know which one you should start with.
I feel like 4 is not that long to beat.
4 is pretty short.
Like,
And it's
especially if you don't like get hung up on wanting to max everyone out and just go through all the story beats. I think you'll be through that one pretty quick, and that'll give you a pretty good taste on a lot of Final Fantasy things.
And it's pretty classic Final Fantasy. You know, it has the ATB system, which 1, 2, and 3 didn't.
You got your white mage.
Yeah, you have
Tank.
all your stuff. You have 5 party members, so the risk level is pretty low. It's not like a 3-party member game where everybody has to stay alive or you just get in the weeds. I can't recommend 1, 2, or 3. I love 1, but that game is old, and that is hard to start with.
I can't recommend 2 to anybody.
No, 2 is terrible.
And I guess the problem with starting out with the FF7 remake would really just be it's not going to be anything like any of the other games. Like, it's so you're not introducing yourself to the old series. You're just starting at that point. I don't think that's going to aid you in going back and playing the older stuff.
Well, we also don't know really what it is yet, so I don't know if I want to say, hey, wait potentially 2 years for a completely unknown quantity, when you could even just play Final Fantasy VII HD on the PS4 right now, or play it on PC. Play it on nearly anything at this point, and it'll be fine.
And, if they really want to win me over on this Final Fantasy VII remake, like, the ultimate fan service they could do is when Cloud goes into the Materia stream, they insert a free HD copy of Final Fantasy Tactics.
And just say, now that you've played Final Fantasy VII, the rest of it isn't Evilise.
Yeah. You have to go here to fulfill the rest of Cloud's story, and then don't question how he gets back.
They should just put Final Fantasy Tactics Advance in there, and then at the end of that game where they go, oh, it was all a dream, you get back into Final Fantasy VII.
And fair warning on when if you pick 4 as your first one, Cecil does start out brooding, but he does actually have valid, like, upfront reasons that you will get to see within the first 5 seconds of gameplay of why he is brooding.
And
like,
yeah, I feel like they resolved that pretty quickly too.
It gets resolved, yes, but I mean, he will be like broody for the first 10 minutes of the game. and
Yeah.
he has valid reasons why he's upset that you will know and understand and feel he's justified in his broody
So
behavior.
I would recommend either 4 or 6. I would say if you're going to play 6, absolutely don't play the mobile or the PC version. Those are not what you're looking for. I would try to find the Game Boy Advance version if you want, or the Super NES version. Wink, wink. For 4, I also probably wouldn't recommend the 3D version. If you're really adverse to pixel graphics, the 3D one's fine, and they smoothed out some of the rough edges, but it never really clicked with me. So I'd say pick between either one of those. I think both of those are kind of a good place to start, and then depending on what you liked out of those, you can sort of fork off into different experiences you liked out of that. Don't start with 5 at the beginning. That's like a 300 level class in Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think 4, 6, and 7 are the optimal starting points. I agree with that.
Yeah. Anything else? Maybe 10, but I think if you don't like Cloud, I really don't think you're
think
gonna
you're gonna like
Tidus.
Tidus. Yeah,
I think
was
he's
thinking
just
that too.
kind of a
Tidus,
turd.
Tidus is pretty upbeat though, isn't he?
Well, I think
Yeah.
as a character, fans really hate him, and I feel like that's a little unfair. What I do is I try to not think as Tidus as the main character of Final Fantasy X, and I feel that you should think of him as the unfortunate narrator of the real
Yeah.
main character's story, who is actually Yuna.
Absolutely.
You should think of Yuna as she's the number one main hero. She's the person that everybody's doing everything for, and Tidus just happens to be our narrator or our point of view of the story.
And
I think that's
you're
a good
saying
point.
that Tidus isn't the main character that fans dreamed of.
He's
right,
not
just like Final Fantasy 12.
Vaughn, just like Vaughn. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's Vaughn. Vaughn before we had Vaughn.
And
Don't catch my pun at all. That's okay.
I didn't
I
get.
fan dreamed of.
Oh.
I got.
Ah.
I tried to not.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba. Yeah, so 4 or 6, I would stick with one of those. Try and play the original list version of those if you can find them. They're out there somewhere. If not, the Game Boy Advance versions of those are readily available and pretty great. We have another email here from Angel Eye. He says, Angel Eye here. Congratulations on surviving Third Impact. Thank you very much. Now I have to go watch that show again. So just wanted to highlight a game I've been enjoying, Oreshkia, Tainted Bloodlines, a JRPG dungeon crawler in which you lead a disgraced and cursed clan on a tale of vengeance. As Bloodlines would suggest, your game takes place over time, and the character you build isn't the one you will finish with, but the start of your lineage. You add generations to your clan by procreating with the gods, and ideally you mix and match your traits to breed out weaknesses. Hooray, eugenics. The art style is pretty and the gameplay is fun, but it's also on sale for $5 right now and is a Vita game. That sounds interesting. I've never heard of this game. So
Never heard of it either.
I will have to go check that out. $5 seems like a pretty good deal. And I'd like to play something on my Vita. I'm going to Google this real quick
I already was.
while we're talking.
Yeah, it's by Japan Studio.
Oh, interesting, really.
Um,
I have never even seen that cover. This is crazy. Look
It
at
is.
this.
Looking at screenshots of this game, this is crazy.
Yeah, thank you very much for letting us know of this. Oh, wow, it was introduced in 2011.
wow, that is
Yeah, look at the graphics of the actual combat.
Yeah.
that is insane. That's awesome.
This is a sequel to a game called Over My Dead Body. It came out for the PS1.
Are you being silly or are you being serious?
No, that's what the
Okay.
that's what the Wikipedia page says. So
Okay.
maybe
Huh.
interesting, cool. Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I think we'll all go check that out.
Well, this says Alpha System, so I guess Sony just published it.
Oh yeah. He continues and says, so Oreshkia, reminded me of another game you guys talked about recently, and I was interested in the name because I don't seem to remember it. A game where your family games traits or experience through the generations so you can beat the baddie. That's that really naughty game that came out on Agarest War.
Agarest War,
Yeah,
yes.
just came out on the second one. Just came out on PC. First one is out on Steam as well. Those are pretty good games. They're interesting. They're kind of traditional strategy RPG games that are dirty.
I find them so boring. I'm sorry. My honest opinion is I fall asleep when I do the combat in there.
I started that first game on 360 because I was like, man, people seem to like these. Bored. I just if it seems like if it clicks with somebody, they really love it, and it just is 100% their game. I couldn't do it.
It came with a boob pad.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah.
So,
Sadly.
so is he asking for games that have that type of system in them, or did he ask about that game?
I think he was just asking for the name.
Oh,
It's
okay.
Agarist War. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both on Steam. I think they're really cheap on Steam, especially during the sale. So
I just feel like there's so many better strategy games out there that are very interesting, and I would much rather spend money on
like Final
Man.
Fantasy Tactics,
like Tactics.
War of the
or-
Lions.
Massive Chalice has hereditary stuff in it.
Oh, that's true.
It's good tactics,
Maybe that was
turn-based.
it. That actually might have been it too. So it's either Agarist War, which is okay, or Massive Chalice, which is also okay. But I would recommend Massive Chalice pretty quickly.
Yeah,
Or
it's pretty good.
I know what's a really good one that's a strategy that has that. Fire Emblem Awakening has
yeah.
the children bloodlines things, and
Yeah.
it's way better.
That game is
A
outstanding.
lot better.
Yeah, that game is great.
Get that.
Go play that, but also go play Final Fantasy Tactics. Now
Tactics,
now it's stuck in my craw because Musa mentioned it. I was like, man, that game is so good.
I'm just saying, I would pay upwards of $100 if they took all 3 tactics games and made an HD version for like PS4 or something.
Kickstart it. I will put a lot of money towards that. I put a lot of money towards Amplitude, and that game's not here great.
Also, if you end up playing Fire Emblem Awakening and liking it, I believe the new Fire Emblem is coming out in February, next month.
That's right. That's right around the corner.
Yeah.
From what I
3 of those
gather,
games.
all the Fire Emblems are really good because the Fire Emblem for GameCube, whatever it's called, was really awesome, but it doesn't have hereditary stuff in it.
No.
I think some of the really old ones hadn't found the formula yet, so I think stuff before the GameCube ones were pretty hit and miss. Because I think GameCube ones were good, and I think the Game Boy Advance ones were good, but beyond that, it's kind of a little... It's like talking about which Final Fantasy games are the best. It's like, well, don't play 2. 3 is okay. Oh, man. All right, well, thank you very much, everyone, for writing in with your questions / interesting games I've never heard of. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at pickingupthepixels.com. Email us, fans@pickingupthepixels.com. Tweet us at pickingupPixels, no the in there. And everything else is on the page. Where can we find you at, Musum?
You can find me on the Carousel Podcast on iTunes and at thecarouselpodcast.com. And you can buy my music at musim.bandcamp.com.
And Mina.
You can find me at twitch.tv /Mina KO Rocket, and also Mina Ko Rocket on YouTube.
And you can find me, bostonhannon.com. It just redirects to my YouTube channel because they don't let you really change your channel name anymore unless it's just your name, which that's crazy. So thank you very much, everyone, for listening. Our adventure continues next month. Okay.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. It helps out a lot. I'm like turning into this YouTube shill now, but please, it helps out a lot. I think a lot of people don't realize that if you like a video, please like it because it helps in rankings quite a bit. You get good stuff out of YouTube if people like your videos. So thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next month. Bye.